When people argue about the Jones Act, they usually argue at the surface level. One side says it protects America. The other side says it raises costs. But the real issue is deeper than that. So when people say, why not just open domestic shipping to whoever can do it cheapest? What they are really asking is, should America keep control of America's internal logistical arteries? Or should those arteries be treated like an open global market? That is the real debate. And my answer is simple. A nation that gives away its internal freight lanes gives away part of its sovereign operating system. Those places depend more heavily on waterborne logistics than the mainland does, so when domestic maritime capacity is limited, they feel the pain first. Most people hear pipeline in Alaska and think Alaska already has the infrastructure it needs, but that is not the real picture. So the real issue is not whether Alaska has energy. The issue is whether Alaska has the right internal transport system to move that energy from where it exists to where people actually need it. And right now, that missing piece is a gas spine, not an oil spine, a gas spine. So now you hit the real bottleneck. If there is no full gas pipeline in place yet, and rail is not the backbone answer, then one workaround is to move LNG by ship. But then you run into another issue. There may be no Jones Act compliant vessel class available for that specific trade, especially if you're talking about Arctic-capable LNG movement. The lesson is that you cannot protect maritime sovereignty with policy alone while letting your industrial base decay underneath it. That is the real American problem. That means rebuilding shipyards, rebuilding repair capacity, rebuilding mariner pipelines, rebuilding specialized vessel classes, rebuilding the industrial workforce behind all of it. Welders, electricians, pipe fitters, marine engineers, naval architects, suppliers, terminal labor, and maintenance networks. Shipbuilding is not just about hulls. It is about whether a country can still sustain the labor, infrastructure, and technical competence needed to move its own essentials under stress. If you optimize only for the cheapest short-term rate, you may save money for a while, but over time you hollow out your own base. War, fuel shock, port disruption, strategic rivalry, natural disaster, supply chain fragmentation. That is when sovereignty gets tested. So my position is this. The principle behind the Jones Act is right. America should protect control over its internal freight lanes. That means targeted flexibility where there is a genuine zero capability gap. But it also means refusing to use today's industrial weakness as an excuse to permanently outsource tomorrow's strategic capacity. America's problem is not that it protects domestic freight lanes. America's problem is that it stopped building enough capacity behind that protection. That is a much more serious argument.